It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's our favorite day. It's
Hey,
our
it's our
favorite
favorite
day.
day.
It's our favorite day. Hey, it's
Hey,
our favorite day. Get it up.
it's
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday. Hey.
Tuesday. And it's 2222 Tuesday. 2222 Tuesday. Guys, welcome to the Connected Corner. We are so excited about this 22222. Y'all been asking everybody from Baltimore to say it. So 222 to you do what it do, dummy. All right. We want to give a shout out to everybody from Baltimore who has done their 222 videos today. I definitely had a couple of phone calls come in, say, yo, say it for me. I was like, say what for you
Right.
to date? Oh, okay, bet. Well, cash at me because we don't do nothing for free. But anywho, I'm your girl, Tori Rose, and we are just so excited to have you here on the Connected Corner. And who do I have the awesome honor of co-hosting with?
You are co-hosting with Kiana B.
Be
Hey.
classy. I like. Is that what your shirt says? Be classy.
Well, it says classy at the core, hood around the edges.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. We got to put some Beehive connected group, the connected corner stuff on some shirts and get them out. I
Yeah.
honestly thought it was going to say classy with a bunch of C
Oh,
in the back, but never mind. That was what my thought was.
that's a good idea, though. I could wear that.
It is.
I could rock that one too.
You could, and it would not be a lie. Listen, God has been good to us. Amen. So we've had an amazing, amazing couple of weeks. We've had a dynamic, it's like jumping out the gate. I get so excited with these seasons. We've been talking love, we've been talking relationships, just everything that's going to better you as a person.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that we just move forward in that vein, right? And
Yeah.
so tonight we're talking about the war in your mind. And if you tag somebody, listen, follow us on YouTube, follow us on the Facebook, on Facebook at the Connected Corner. We're talking about the war in your mind. We're talking about building a better relationship with self. This
Yes.
is so timely. We had
Yes, it
people,
is.
join for the speed dating with Tasha. That was powerful. We
And
had
we
people.
still writing quotes and getting info from the bishop. So I'm telling y'all, we did our videos and I dropped the code for y'all. If y'all don't go to Amazon and put in Bishop Greg Davis and get the book, like we're still following, we're still sharing quotes. I
Whew,
mean,
on
confirmation for me the
fire.
other day. It's just so much. And some of us have things going on in our body that's also messing with our minds.
Listen,
Some things happen in our bodies that making our mind go to war. So we're gonna need this self-help.
very true, very true. And guys, don't think it's just about the ladies. We get hormonal sometimes, we go through changes, but men, this is the real season to step up and be honest and say, you know what? Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. Sometimes I know I need to have that additional conversation or go to counseling and I don't want to do it, but I'm really sick in my thoughts. If that is you, be honest, because the reality is this world is tough to navigate and
Yeah.
you do not have to navigate it alone. We are the Connected Corner where you get news and resources
You can actually use.
and so we want you to use them. Again, make sure you are following us. You're subscribed to our channel on YouTube. Go to the search bar, type in the Connected Corner. We'll also drop that in the chat and in the notes for you. But it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Get on board, right? And let's go ahead and level up. And so, Kiana, will you say our thank yous to our amazing friend and mentor?
Yes, we always give a shout out to our media partner and mentor, Mr. Diamond K, over at Radio on Fire. And now he is Radio on Fire Television. So make
Yes.
sure you guys are following him always with the what's to do, what's happening now, all the current events and entertainment and news. And then you can also check out the Diamond K show that he has every day in the morning is at 8 a.m. And so make sure you follow him and Diamond K, the Diamond K show, and Radio on Fire.
Yes, and on fire TV, on fire everything, on fire, on fire, on fire. And what is interesting with Diamond K is how many different sides of his mind he has, right?
Right.
Because he's helped us with the show. He's helped with politics. He has
Right.
opinions on parenting. Last week he was on the show giving opinions on dating. Like his mind, that's a brother that keeps his mind moving. And I know he believes in therapeutic services. He believes in mental health. And so without further ado, I think that is going to be a great segue to bring in our guest. I want to tell y'all a little bit about who this amazing lady is. She is Miss Jocelyn S. Malone. She's a licensed clinical social worker. I love social workers. They have all them big letters behind their name, which makes you know they are official. LCSW-C, baby, dash C, get in that C like the connected corner. She's a certified financial social worker, which is also FSW, and an ADHD certified clinician, or excuse me, clinical service provider. Y'all know I got ADHD, so I know y'all gonna think this must be Tori's personal. No, it's not. But if I can get on her calendar, I'm gonna be there. She is a Baltimore, Maryland native, so she also says 2222 like you do, with more than 15 years of experience in child welfare and mental health. Jocelyn holds a bachelor's degree in social work from Coppin State University.
Woo woo, Eagle.
As well as a master's degree in social work from the University of Maryland School of Social Work. And we want to give them a shout out. They have been amazing. And we have many partnerships at University of Maryland. So we want to just shout them out as well. Jocelyn's career history includes working for several community-based health clinics and local hospitals as a psychotherapist. She is not to be played with, okay? Because she can see through your mess. And most of her career includes providing mental health treatment to adults and children in the privacy of their homes. I love that. So I joke a lot. Y'all know that's my way of deflecting, but understand that we don't take mental health issues lightly, right? The fact that this woman cares enough about her clients to meet you where you are in the privacy of your own home. Please, guys, put your virtual hands together as we bring on this amazing clinician. She approaches each client individually. She meets people where they are. She is the owner of JSM Therapeutic Options, LLC. Put your hands together.
Woo, woo, woo,
And
woo.
welcome,
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome,
Thanks
Jocelyn.
for having me and inviting me.
Yes, we are excited to have you here. I mean, like Tori, we talked about, in our introductions, we are doing this series on relationships. And I know everybody loved the juicy juice. We started with dating and online dating and, speed dating because it was right around, Valentine's Day. And then we, came up after that with how to build relationships, different relationships. But we know one of the most important relationships we can have, first and foremost, the one we got with God, but also the relationship with ourselves, which also, kind of goes along with that, right? And so we thought it was very important to also touch on that. So long bio, long what you do. We love your accomplishments. For people may not know, like outside of the bio and, the letters and accomplishments, like what types of services we know, you do counseling. I was interested in the financial social work. So like some people, I'm sure that kind of made people kind of go up a little bit ears like, oh, okay, what is that? But tell us a little bit about some of the services that you offer in your clientele, young, middle, high school, so tell us a little bit about that.
So I have had my private practice since 2014, and it was located in Pikesville before the pandemic. Now it's all virtual. And what I have two other therapists that work with me who are African American women. And what we do is provide just talk therapy. We also have there's another financial social worker that's in there. So what that means is that people struggle with understanding how they treat money or how they act with money. So they can't really make it and save it or do anything they want with it because you're not clear on it. So what we're trained to do is help you learn how to acknowledge what you're experiencing with it, feelings or whatever is involved with it, so that you can have that budget, make that budget, because our money comes from, we learn from our parents, we learn from our family how to do it. Sometimes they didn't get it right. So we got to figure out how to do it with us. Also, I'm an ADHD professional, and that means that I coach people with ADHD. I have ADHD, so I decided to learn how to do this so that I could get better with myself. And I love helping people who don't feel successful as they want to be manage themselves with attention deficit. And we just provide therapy. We provide for ages like 14 and up.
Okay.
We do couples work, coaching, and talk therapy.
Wow.
I
That's
love it. I love
awesome, isn't
it.
it?
That is awesome.
So
And
we don't do in-home therapy. We do in-home now virtually. Okay. So, yeah.
well, that's important though. It's important because so many people with mental health issues during COVID, we turned inward, right? And so even with that, being able to meet and pivot, right? Meet your clients where they are. I tell
Mhm.
people, and Kiana and I have talked about this several times. I always think all of the greats, we either have ADD, ADHD, ODD. We got some D, and it makes us dynamic, you know. And so just want to acknowledge
Superpowers.
you in that it's so interesting, and I'm glad that Kiana started with that question because as a coach as well, there's no topic we can talk about that money doesn't come up. I can't talk
Exactly.
about your life and money doesn't come up. I can't talk about your
Yeah.
career and money doesn't come up. And so I'm going to do a shameless plug really quick, guys. If you missed my intake in last season, please make sure you do not miss intake with me this season. March 7th, intake starts and we're jumping into careers, right into careers. I've watched a number of people shift into jobs and they need to be in careers. You're not going to
Mhm.
ever be able to move your family forward in a dead end job. And so to your point, Jocelyn, finances, that's a mental. It's sometimes
Mhm.
so binding to people. So with that, and I've been there, and Kiana will tell you she quit me as a client a little while ago. A few years back, Kiana was doing all of my accounting and tax things, and she said, "Oh yeah, your mind is not in the right place. Cousin or no cousin, partner or no
We
partner."
needed to know you then because I got a lot. Look, I'm gonna be sending a couple folk your way.
All
I
Exactly.
got the accountant financial advisor, but honestly, when you deal that close with people, I'm like, I can't. I can't be your
right.
sister. Like we trying to
Mhm.
get this part straight, but we gotta send you back over here because your emotional attachment and things not right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, hey, we want to give a shout out to Carly. We see Carly is with us. Hey, Carly, thank you so much for always tuning in. Please make sure you comment, share, post, tag, and we know you are following us on the Connected Corner. So, thank you for that. So, Jocelyn, I'm going to get back to even that. So, you can only imagine. I'm like, how dare she get rid of me as a client? I'm her cousin. I felt entitled, but I had stinking thinking, right? And my relationship with money was extremely negative.
Mhm.
I just had this bad mindset. Where do you think like that negative talk and that stinking thinking comes from?
So if we think about what stinking thinking is, it's all about engaging with thoughts that don't do you any good. They're like a waste of time, right? And so any thoughts we have or beliefs we have come from our core beliefs and core values, right? And our core beliefs and core values come from how who raised us. Really, most of us aren't even creating our own core beliefs and our own core values because we're still living in the ones that we got from our generational, our generation and our, people that raised us, right? So if you're having negative thoughts, there are a couple things that other things than just the family that caused it. Could be a trauma you had. It could be like you could have gotten a trauma like bullied in school. You never tried to accomplish anything, so now you have negative thoughts. Some families are just pessimistic families, cynical families, right? And so that's what causes these negative thinking, the stinking thinking that goes on with people. And it's just a matter of sometimes first making the decision that I don't want to be that person that's always negative, and deciding how to get help to get past it. Also, negative thinking can come from an organic place, because our brains sometimes give us more anxiety or depression than other brains. And so we can get trapped in that. And that's a whole other show about how medication can help you at least loosen it and, allow you to become a little bit more positive. So, negative thinking can come from a lot of places.
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, we know that that's one of the things that we talk about, and so everybody know we're spiritual, we love God. So I think that every subject and most of the things that we talk about here is somewhat going to be connected to that, right? So your values and how you feel about
Mhm.
money, but that core value is also like we talk about breaking those generational curses. So whenever it comes to like that financial part and that thinking, you said we are not taught, most people have pessimistic families, And Tori will know, like around 2015, me out of a trauma, coming out of a relationship, my kids and I, we started on this positive journey. And I started realizing, are we actually taught to think positive? Like, if you really start thinking back, I mean, the fact that you said that, it is so true. Like, if you really go back in childhood and you say, how you doing? I'm good. Even, the church mothers or grandmother you call, I mean, God is good, but I mean, I guess I make you like,
Right.
you just said he was good. Like, I don't even know how to feel. So that is so true what you're saying.
Right.
You talked about, we know like the medication and things like that could be a whole nother way to help with some of those things, because we know that could be chemical. But what are some other ways like we can combat that negative self-talk? So we know you could be positive, and that's not as easy for some people, right? So what are some like coping mechanisms or things they can do to help them with that negative self-talk?
So, as a clinician working with clients, a lot of times I have to take them back to where they came from, right? So that means we got to go look at how you got where you are now. Like, what happened with your mama, your daddy, your grandmama, your grand. I believe in that generational stuff when I do therapy with people, right? But just say you don't want to do therapy. You just got to look at yourself and just take a look at your family and say, well, how do they see the world? And we know, I'm going to put this out here. We know there's that layer of racism is touching on all of us. So we're not addressing that here right now, but we know that that's all minorities. They have to deal with that, right? So let's say we're going to put that in the box, put that over here, and then we're going to look at the other stuff, right? But that's a given, okay? Now, the other stuff, the family stuff, which racism has something to do with, especially Black families, right? The other things are, if we talk about, I'll say this, people don't want to think outside of their way their family thinks sometimes because they're afraid they'll be alone. They're afraid they won't fit in with their family if they have a different way of thinking. They're afraid that they won't have they won't be understood by their family. So it's kind of hard to pull away from the way your family has raised you to think. And that goes to core beliefs, values, and traditions, right? So like we use what you said about, hey, how you doing? Oh, God is good, but it's rough out here. That's misunderstanding. Now, let's suppose that person says, like, I don't want to feel like that no more. I'm tired of feeling bad. I'm tired of feeling trapped in these feelings. I have to really analyze, where am I going to fit in the world? Where am I going to fit in my family or whoever in my positive thinking that things can go well, that I can have it all, that the world works out for me, right? And that part has to be something you assess within you first, right? The other thing is, you can look at there's a thing called a mindfulness, right? Like paying attention to where I am right now. Right now, when I get negative about something, I'm going to start to challenge this thought that I'm having. I'm gonna treat it like it's on trial. I'm going to treat it like we're going to court and we're going to find out, what are you doing here? What harm did you do? So first I want to put it up there like, all right, so this thought I have, why are you here? Like, what are you here for? What are you coming to visit me for? Is anything you saying true? Is that true? So I'm challenging, because I got to find evidence that thing that I'm thinking is the truth. So I'm going to run through the evidence like, all right, so let's think of something. Let's give me an example. Let's think of, all right. I'm afraid of dogs. I'm scared of dogs. I'm 35 years old and I'm scared of dogs, right? So every time somebody brings a dog around me, I'm petrified. But am I really afraid of dogs? Or was it that I got chased by that dog when I was 10 and everybody in the family said, you're scared of dogs, you're afraid of dogs, you might not want to get away from that dog, and so that has now become a part of my body, that I'm afraid of dogs. I never gave another dog a chance. I never even tried because I was told I'm afraid of dogs, and now I believe it, right? So the evidence that I'm afraid of dogs comes from where? I got chased. I forgot it. I got chased, but they keep reminding me that I got chased. So I got chased by a dog. Um, other evidence is that, all right, when I go around dogs, I get scared. Well, why? Let me challenge you. Like, why am I scared? What's the evidence that I'm scared? Am I really scared? Or is it that I don't know what to think about that dog? So I don't know. So I tell myself I'm afraid, right? Then I'm going to take this evidence that I came up with. Is it fact or feeling? Is it a fact or is it feeling? Sometimes our thoughts aren't even fact, because we know I said, and listen, when I talk about generations before us, I'm never blaming, we explaining it. We just explaining it, never blaming, okay? You know, they say, oh, blame everything on the mother. No, we just explaining things, right? So, all right, now I thought about the dogs and I thought like, hey, I never even let a dog get near me to find out if I was really scared or not. Maybe I'll go to a kennel or something to see if I can have a dog near me, how I would feel if I'm supported and I am given information about the dog. Because that dog that chased me back then, ain't nobody know about that dog. Back then, they ain't had leashes on dogs. Dogs was running wild, doing whatever they want. And that dog rolled up on me because it was hungry. You know, I don't really know. I don't know what was going on. Maybe that dog needed somebody to take care of it. But I know I ran. I do remember that I ran. And they keep telling me, you know, you scared of dogs. Stay away from the dogs, right? So here we are now. We didn't challenge the thoughts. What is this evidence that says this thing is true? You know what? I don't want to keep feeling like this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go start to look at some things differently. I'm going to do some research and get some support around this. I'm not going to sit in my own thought by myself because I put myself in this box, this prison of about this dog, and I can't get out now in my own mind. So now I'm challenging my thoughts. Addressing it and getting support from other people to help me address it. And now, hey, I love dogs. I love playing with dogs. Dogs are sweet and friendly. That's what it can lead to. And most things in your life can happen like that, even if it was a trauma.
That's huge. That's huge. That's
If it was
actually what happened to me.
trauma.
And that's why I was like, wait, you're telling my whole story. I used to live on a street called Payson Street, West Baltimore. And outside, you know, they say don't get off the steps. A stray dog comes up the street. I run, it chases. I run straight into a
I just thought of
pole, those silver poles, and crack my forehead wide open. I'm about 9 or 10 years old. However, I love dogs. They love me. I love them. I'm a pit bull lover.
that.
And everything that you said is exactly what I had to do one day. Like, yo, what is really this fear? And I won't share the story of me biting a dog. I don't even want to talk about that ever again in life. But and I don't subscribe, I don't advise anyone to do that method. However,
Mhm.
what I heard you say is what is fact, what is feeling. Identify and assess. Put that thing
Right.
on trial and unpack it. I
Mhm.
love that. I love it, love it, love it. I used to tell my mom one of the best things that could have happened to me was me being homeless as a child. I
Mhm.
was homeless from 16 to 18. And,
Mhm.
you know, she's like, you know, that's a sensitive subject or was, right? And I said, well, no,
Mhm.
because it allowed me to develop into my own. I didn't have to worry about how you guys felt or what you thought or any of that. And
Right.
in all honesty, I was a very negative person.
Mhm.
I get to college my first year, and I have an advisor. Shout out to Miss Nicole Baker. She is Nicole Mason now. Shout out to her because one day she said, "Why are you so nasty?" And my response was, because I want to be. But the reality, I really didn't want to be. And that
Nobody
question,
does.
it bothered me so bad because all I had was a smart remark to give her back. I didn't have a real justifiable answer. And so I had to start doing those things to unpack. So my question to you is anyone who is at that pivotal place where they want to be someone, a better, more improved version of self, not someone different. We're not asking you to be different, but be
Mhm.
better, right? How do you start to affirm and strengthen your mind in this pivotal decision making place?
So I want to first start with this part. When somebody comes to me for therapy, I always ask them, are they really ready to change? Because with change, there's loss sometimes. You know, you're gonna lose sometimes. You're gonna lose people who became your friend because of who you were, and you're not gonna be that person again. So first is once again is a decision. Do I really want to change? Right. So then after we decide if they're going to change, we have to like you gotta look at some honest things about yourself, right? Because um if you let's say getting smart with people, you know, because it's funny, I just had some clients today that went through that, getting smart with people, right? So we have to look at some things like, okay, when did that start? When did you start getting like that? Because you weren't a baby like that, you weren't little like that. Like it came about because some things happen, right? Is it defense? Are you protecting yourself with it? Is it working now? Is it a risk factor? Is it a protective factor? What we doing with this thing, this behavior that you have, right? So back then it worked. Because when you were 16, 18, you in a shelter, you had to be a little, you got to come at some people sometimes. I'm sorry, you do. I worked in a shelter, you got to like be ready sometimes, right? So I could understand developing that. But to the core, you're really not that person and you were tired of being angry, right? So then we have to say, who do you want to be? Like, who do you really want to be? Did you have, I always tell people, is it a celebrity you like or TV show or something you like who you want to be that person to emulate? Because we need you to understand what it looks like to be that person. Because sometimes we don't even know, to even become something different. And everybody ain't gonna like you being friendly. Everybody ain't gonna like you smiling. Everybody not gonna enjoy it because they're still in what they are. And so you're gonna lose some people. So I like to set the stage for you're gonna lose some people like I don't want to be around you. Well, everything's so good, yeah, and they ain't gonna want to be around you or talk to you, right? So are you ready to deal with those feelings? We got to do a lot of prep work before we even start to affirm because we can do all the affirmations and blowing yourself up, but the reality is there is some history there and some baggage there that prevents you from really coming into who the person you really want to be. But you can. So you made a decision. You like, I want to be this person who is friendlier. I want to be this person who is open to stuff. I want to be a person that smiles. I want to smile sometime, right? How do I start? Now that you decided to do it, your eyes are going to be open to other people smiling, other people in good moods, right? And you're going to be drawn to those people because like attracts like. Like attracts like. I don't care who it is. I don't care what you say. Like attracts like, right? So you're gonna be looking at the people. Like, she always smiling. She always in a good mood. Not she always smiling. She always in a good mood. You're gonna be. She's always smiling. I really want to be around this person, right? So that's the beginning of it, and then you get to hear the things that they do to keep them up.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally use them as your muse. That I want to be like that now. Sometimes it's harder. You need some therapy to get through some stuff because some stuff that got you there, it's hard to unpack alone. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And so we got to pull it apart. I always say, pull it out the cabinet, examine it, check it out, get to know it, get comfortable with it, fold it up, put it back in, and pull it out when you need it, right? You're going to do it
Mm-hmm.
like that. But we still got to pull it out and look at it. Um, to affirm a new life, you have to also be ready to be that new person because everybody sometimes who she thinks she is. What? Okay, here she come with that again. You know what I'm saying? You have to find some strength because you have gotten to know yourself because it's all about getting to know yourself, that relationship with self, knowing your real likes and dislikes, not the ones that your family had from 1955 and 1975 and 19 the ones you got right now about the world. What
Mm-hmm.
are my likes? It's like what do I enjoy? Um Let me go enjoy it freely. Let me go do it, right? Because I'm getting a sense of self. And
Mm-hmm.
now I can stand in being who I am. And when I feel like I'm going to lose because I have this new role, this new identity, it's okay. Because guess what? There are more people on the other side waiting for me to join them.
And that's the part. When you over here on the other side, you don't realize because those people used to irritate you. The
They
person
did.
at work you come in, you be like, nobody is that happy this early in the morning. Like okay, you would talk about, and then you become that person. And that was like, oh, I like it over here. This is
Mhm.
nice,
It's easier. It's
Yeah,
easier.
it's easier. Oh my goodness, my days are a little better, being on this side. And
Mhm.
so that is just so funny, you saying that we're listening. I know people looking like, because we like, oh my goodness, this is so good. This is so good. This is good, y'all. Look, you got some folk. Where your cousins and them, your mom and them, you better go ahead and send them this link. Tell them get on over to the Connected Corner because after this show, y'all gonna have to make an appointment and get with Miss Jocelyn,
We
and hopefully you got
ready. Ready.
that good insurance, that good it's not really called, it's affordable care. Okay, make sure y'all hopefully y'all got that good affordable care, and y'all could go ahead and contact her. We're gonna put her contact information and find out if she take your insurances or not.
Mhm.
But you better tell your people get over here and get this good information, take these notes because this is good stuff.
Like
Okay.
it's okay to be happy and it's okay to be successful. And
Yes.
sometimes we've been told that it's not. We really, and I don't think that our families mean us any harm. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because each generation you get more opportunity.
Yeah.
So some generations are like, what are you talking about? No, you can't do that. You can't do. But really, even though it keeps getting easier, and it's okay to be happy.
Absolutely. I mean, that this information is just I'm so happy to have it. I'm so happy to have you here. Um One of the
Yeah.
things that you were talking about, that you hit on when you was talking about, the self and that whole, like, hey, who are you now? Like, who does she
Mhm.
think she is? And I know, I mean, people, let's be honest, y'all can go ahead and put your comments in, right? But be honest about, a lot of times, like family, we talk about that family values, you talk about family traditions, you talk about your thought and that history that comes from family. Well, a lot of us have been scared to change, become that positive person, move forward, move out of state, make these moves, do these things, become successful,
Mhm.
because you scared what your family gonna say. So sometimes people think it's not always the what we may see as negative things that makes us scared to do, because, oh my goodness, what mama and them gonna say. It is also people moving forward in life that
Mhm.
they worry about what the family gonna say. So I tore in our theme for our business, for us personally, is seeing it through in 2022. And I think one of my first posts of the new year was like, it's gonna be a lot of who she thinks she is. Because, and I have to sit in that. Like, honestly, that was
Yes.
my plight. I'm gonna
Yup.
be honest. That's the only way I can sit in it and be like, I don't care. I gotta do what's best for me. Like, and
Mhm.
so that's why this is so important for us when we're talking about that, again, because sometimes you can't control what other people's thoughts are, right?
You
So
never
how do we
can.
deal with that? What advice for those people who you let the stuff you can't control stress you out? You can't control how your family is. Don't let it stress you. What can we do
Okay.
to keep moving forward and not worry about that stuff we can't control?
All right. So the first thing I'm gonna be real like so it's not their business really. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. It's not their business. If you so that part that's one part. But we know it's hard for people, right? So when like we are people and people lean on people, right? People lean on people. And we might have to first find our own tribe, that fits with us. Because family don't always gotta be blood. It gotta be blood. It don't have to be blood all the time, right? But you can still love. We still gonna love, right? Um, some people are, like I said, especially here in Baltimore, we are a trauma city. We're a trauma city. You know, it's so much trauma that's happened to especially black people here in the city, and especially and with everybody, that you gotta recognize like the way they're thinking is based on their reality, their perspective of things. So you can't internalize because they have whatever they're dealing with. You said something. I lost my thought. You said something about I don't know if it was you said sometimes you can never you can't control what anybody does ever.
Right.
Because people
Yeah.
can't control themselves. People can't control themselves. So they gonna sure ain't gonna be trying to control them how they think about you, right? Because sometimes we can't trust ourselves, right? So it has to be like this super duper disconnect at times. Because if you stay connected to what is going to happen and what they're going to say, you'll still be there 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, right? And you'll never ever move to what you want. You are never alone in a world full of a billion people. You're alone in your mind, and you have to let your mind get out the prison of being alone. And I'm not talking about, I mean, even if it's just like, hey, I don't deal with people a lot, but I need to get my business started. You're gonna need people. And if they said, you don't need to be doing that, you don't need to be doing that business, what you trying to do? You better go get that job, right? Then you have to understand that that's their reality of what they need. And you don't have to get mad about it. You don't have to get mad about them because really it's all about fear. It's fear that I'll be alone. It's fear that I'll mess up. It's fear that, and most people are living in a state of fear, right? You just have to say, I'm not going to be afraid. Yes. Most of the time when you go move into something else, yeah, family, friends get a little envious or whatever. They might talk about you. Is that stopping you? Is that stopping your movement? It ain't really stopping anything. It's just them talking to soothe themselves.
Remember, they
That's what.
say, "What you eat don't make me fat." I don't know if you ever heard that saying.
Yeah. And I'm not even trying to just disregard the emotions a person goes through in this process. With that part, you're gonna need support from other places. It is what it is because they don't have it to give to you. People have a capacity that they can get to, and their capacity is their capacity. Everybody's capacity is different.
I love that. I love it. Listen, I'm gonna actually let me see if I can show you this piece of paper. I had it earlier. Well, let me just use this one. Can you see this piece of paper?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Do you see the names written on it?
No.
Right. This is the list of the people who helped me pay my bills this month. I keep
But and I think that that is important, right? That is important. But there's an emotional part you had to get through to really get there. And I think
oh,
some people get stuck on this emotional part, right?
most
I love
certainly.
that.
But let me tell you, it has taken me 2 years
Yes.
to get to this. And what
Yes.
started happening, no lie, maybe a week ago, I started taking this little piece of paper around the house with me
We
because
need.
I am on the cusp of making some decisions, right? And doing some things for my internal small little family. And
Mm-hmm.
every now and then I have to come back and read this list. And I
Wow.
have to understand that God and me, we in this thing thugging it out, right? And so for anyone
Mm-hmm.
who's listening, was like, it's not that easy. If you don't know how, go get this list. Go find yourself a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
start writing your list. Because in this piece of paper, as you fill this list up, these are the people you might want to talk to because these are the people you are dependent upon.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the truth.
For me and my household, and so I've been keeping that as my own reminder to self. I love what you said. People see us, they see the yous, the me, the Kiana, and other people that they may even say, well, if they can do it, I can do it, but they don't know the emotional work that goes behind them. And then um, they don't know the reinforcement, right? And so this is my visual reinforcement. And I read this list every time I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm about to take into account someone's opinion who hasn't made the list. And so with that being said, I still struggle at times with being a connector and going out and meeting people and being self-sufficient, but then doing things alone. Like I
Yeah.
gotta go to the movies by myself or go date
Yeah.
myself. That's the fad right now. But
Yeah.
how do we really embrace that culture and get comfortable in our minds and our bodies with self, with just doing
Mm-hmm.
things by ourselves?
Well,
Embrace
that's
this
a
world.
societal, cultural thing because what's pushed is mating and mixing and getting together. We know that relationships, marriage, that's a really big traditional. People make it seem like, like ain't nobody thinking about marriage. Y'all are. Y'all thinking about marriage. It's all you talk about is marriage. Even if it's polyamorous marriage, if it's what you talking about being with somebody, right? And so if you don't have nobody, something wrong with you. What's up with that person? Why you going by? What's going on, right? So that's societal too, right? The other piece is self-esteem and feeling comfortable. I have people that have social anxiety. They think somebody's staring at them, looking at them, they're judging them. You're judging me because I'm by myself. You think I don't have anybody. It all is one thing. So I can't sit here. It takes practice to be okay with doing things alone. Literally practice and support, right? I have clients that I work with who are like, I don't see how it's possible to do that, right? Well, I like going to movies sometimes I don't want to talk to nobody. Sometimes I don't feel like talking to anybody. So I don't mind going out to eat alone because I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to enjoy the food. I want to have the food. And I'm gonna say this, I'm like a bit of a germ phobe. So sometimes when I'm out with people, you talking and it's flying and things are going on. And I just want to have this meal by myself, right? I am like that at times, but so that's that. But it's all about how you see yourself in the world, what people told you about yourself that makes you uncomfortable with being in the world. You know what I mean? We get a lot of strengths from our families. We get a lot of great skills from our families, but we also get some baggage from them, and it sits on us, and we believe what they told us about ourselves, right? So if I have somebody who says, I really don't like being out alone, but because there is some fear, we got trauma like, hey, I'm scared somebody's going to do something to me, hurt me. That's the outlier, right? But then the person who says, I just think people looking at me. Well, they are, because we are looking at each other. They are looking at you. they're not going to do anything to you because they're just looking at you, right? So there's some self-talk that can go on when you're out. Like, okay, I'm out here by myself. I'm doing all right. I came for a purpose. What's my intention? You might have gone out because you want people to look at you. You trying to get seen, right? So, but you scared. You ain't sure, go it out there, right? Or it could be you're like, okay, I just want to have this meal alone. I didn't have anybody to go with me. I'm tired of not going places and missing out on the world because nobody will go with me. I want to do this. My intention is to enjoy this meal. My intention is to enjoy this museum. My intention, focus on your intention. My goal and my intention is to enjoy the things that I went out to. And if you can literally self-talk your way into something and eventually enjoy it. Once you try it for a minute, try it for an hour, try it for 30 minutes, it'll begin to get comfortable for you because nothing happened to you. The evidence is nothing happened to me. That's the evidence. I was fine. So let me try for it. I did it for 30 minutes. Let me try for an hour. Let me self-talk. Let me think about my belief system and the things, the negative thoughts that are coming in my head. Where are they coming from? Is it the truth, the thing that I'm thinking about? So I'm going to try to go to this museum alone. I'm going to walk around because everybody's not there to look at me. They're looking at the exhibits. That's what they're here for. I'm telling myself these things. I'm trying to convince myself, but I'm going to challenge that thought. We're going to counteract on that thought. So that's just a small piece of what you can do to affirm yourself and to get yourself out there alone. There's a lot of that happening now. It's a lot happening now with people. Women want to go out and meet people, but they're like, I don't want to go by myself. Well, you don't want to go out with your girlfriends because then you like, it's you or them. We ain't got time for that no more, right?
Right. Look, that's a good point. Look, you said that. Look, you got a couple people saying, she got a good point there. Like, if I'm really trying to meet somebody, do I really want to go out? Because, we all looking good in our group, right? It's some women, they will call the person they think that they look better in or, whatever. And I've seen that. That's another show.
Like, you can literally, if you go to a bar, you sit at a bar to just have a meal, you don't have to drink, you drink some, whatever. Like, people are going to talk to you. You're not going to be alone. Somebody going to talk to you, no matter where you are, right? So you're never really going to be alone if that's what you're afraid of.
That is so true. I've tried it. I tried it. Well, I do it. Before it was, like Tori said, it's kind of like, and you said to Jocelyn, it's the thing now, and it's it's a fad and stuff like that. But one of our guests, and they say, oh my goodness, yes, the best thing is to do alone is shop. And I actually was going to bring that up. A lot of women, you go to the supermarket by yourself, you go shopping, all of these things that you do by yourself, but then you won't go to the movies by yourself or take yourself to dinner. But you'll go shopping for the family by yourself. You do housework by yourself. You do the laundry by yourself, right?
You
do all that stuff by yourself.
Nobody while you're at the movie. You shouldn't be talking to nobody while you're at the movie. So you don't need nobody there at the movie. You really don't. Because I'm trying to watch a movie. We shouldn't be talking about anything. Right. So you don't need.
I went to go see I always say that Spider-Man. When Spider-Man came out, and I was like, I'm gonna take myself on a movie date. And sometimes for me, I love that type of stuff. And I'll only find a niece and nephew, godchild to take because I don't want to seem like the weird person, especially if it's like an animated movie. I could do the Marvel and those because, adults watch them now. But, I like the princess movies and stuff. So I'll be like, all right, who can I take? Because now I'm going to really look like a weirdo. But when it's other stuff, so my sister said, she was like, well, you can take your nephews. I said, huh? She was, your nephews want to see. Well, I said, well, all right, well, I'm gonna go this time, and then I'll go see it again. Like, I'll get them to take them again. But I was so like, huh? What? Wait a minute. Well, I was gonna go out and eat after. Like, I just
right.
I'm like, nope, I'm not receiving that. You're not gonna make me feel bad that I'm not taking them to see Spider-Man because I had plans. I had a whole dinner and movie plan, and so it was so funny.
You just said something. You said it's a core belief. I don't want to seem like the weird one. I don't want to seem like this. And that's what people do. They come up with this idea about what somebody going to say or what they're going to think. And you don't want, everybody goes to kids movies now because kids movies are adult. They're adult themes. So everybody goes, but that's a core belief you had about, I don't want nobody thinking this and thinking that, right? That's what people struggle with. Yeah. That part right there. You're right.
All the time. I'm glad, just work to get past that, because it is, and Tori mentioned that, and people saying, hey, you get, look, audience, men, women, everybody, you talk, now men do it all the time. You go out, I think it's more so, I think a lot of times for women, because when I do go out alone, it's a bunch of men at the bar. You know, they didn't came out, they go out all the time. So ladies, you know, I know we had, you know, Bishop Greg Davis on here last week, but still, this is about self, but getting to know yourself and being better. Hey, Jocelyn just said, you might want to know about yourself, especially if you try and catch somebody. You might not want the girlfriends with you.
We don't want no competition with you now.
Look, that's for self too. So when we're talking about like people talking, I mean, this has just been great. Just all the information. You guys make sure that you subscribe and, you know, go over to, if you're on Facebook, let us know where you're watching from, Facebook, YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you can still go over to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you hit the bell so you can get alerted when we go live, because we're going to continue our relationships and self-awareness and building relationships throughout this season. But we're today, like, how can I get to know myself better? So we talked about, you know, going on dates and taking yourself on dates, but it's a lot of people that don't know themselves. I've subscribed to, I've known I don't say every man, that sounds like a lot. I've known, look, I would say every man I've been with better than they know themselves. And I was like, okay, I'm always telling my business.
All 4 of the men. She's had one per decade. Y'all don't realize Kiana is only 3 years away from 50. No, not to put your age out there, but over 50 years, the 4 men that she's been with. So
that is true. I've had a fiance and 3 husbands. The 4 men, like, I feel like I know them better than I know myself, you know? And so how do you get to know yourself? Because I always think you really get to know, you need to know yourself. Right. How do people?
I'm so glad you said that you said you knew them better than you knew yourself, because really we are conditioned to do stuff like that. Like, we don't even take time out for us, but we already doing something, and men and women doing something for somebody else, trying to figure somebody out, because we want to shy away from our own who we are, right? So something I always say is, I said this through the whole thing, explore your core beliefs and your values. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? Explore them. Like, am I the loyal person? Am I the compassionate person? Who am I? Right? Identify your traumas. You know, oh, I had a good life. I ain't had no problems. It was good. Whenever I hear I was daddy's girl, I'm like, my ding, ding, ding. What? Whenever somebody says that, I always, you know, wonder. Explore those traumas and recognize that they're there. That I do have some things, and that's knowing yourself. Get to know, focus on if you have interest or not. Do I like doing things, but I was told not to do it because it don't make me no money? Do I like to do things because I was told that's stupid? You like anime? That's stupid. You 50 going to cosplay? This is stupid. You know, explore these things that you had interest in. And if you so happen to had a life where you didn't get to create hobbies or have hobbies, but when you will go back to when you were a little kid and say, what did I like when I was 7? I like dolls. Man, I got dolls. I got dolls for y'all. I got dolls. I like dolls, right? So I got dolls everywhere, right? If I like this thing, I'm going to engage in it and I'm going to have fun with it. And I'm not going to worry about who has something to say about me, how I'm spending my money on it, or what I'm doing with it, right? Resolve the things that you have really been in denial about yourself. You know, if you've been like saving face, especially if you're in denial about your feelings and emotions most of the time. Like, I ain't mad at him, but I really am hurt. You know, recognize and identify those feelings that come up that you push away because you were told, stop all that crying, get it together, cut that out. Men and women, you got them. If I got feelings, let me resolve. Let me not be in denial about those things, about my strengths, about my things that I consider weaknesses. Let me just like get to know that they exist, identify them, question your unwanted thoughts. Those automatic thoughts that always come up, question them. Say, why do I think like that? Where is that coming from? Right? Because you talked about negative thoughts. Why is it here? Don't just say, oh, that's just how I am. That's my personality. Nope. Why is it there? I would say journal, because even if you don't like to write, put it in like a what is the thing when you talking to it, a voice thing?
Yeah,
writing. Yeah, writing is therapeutic. Writing is a release. I would say to you to journal. Also, big thing is get to know your body. Get in touch with your body, look at your body, embrace your body. If it's something on there you ain't feeling, work on changing it. We got all kinds of magic out here now. You know what I'm saying? You can change anything you want. And if you want to change it, change it. Like me, I'm gonna get something done with my chip with this. I'm gonna get something done. I don't care what anybody has to say, girl. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with you. Yeah, this is something because you recognize your insecurities. Just because you have some insecurities or some things you're not as confident about doesn't necessarily mean your self-esteem is low. You guys know that, right? It just means there's this thing that bothers me because it's human, right? So those are the things you want to just assess and spend time paying attention to you for a change. Not I know you better than you know yourself, because you really don't. You know what they show you. And if you don't know yourself, you can't really know nobody. You really can't. Like, it's like, what we doing right here, right? And
Yeah.
the thing that people find really hard to do, I think, because I think answers come in this, and I really believe in it. We're gonna say meditate. You can call it prayer if you want, but I think meditation is an ultimate way to hear yourself. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying you gotta sit down for half an hour. I'm saying you can do it 5 minutes at a time. Let me just get quiet. Let me listen to the sound of the air condition going and get quiet so my mind can slow down and I can listen to me because we have a voice. We all have an inner voice. We know what's going on. I never had anybody to come to therapy who didn't know what was going on. They may say, "Well, I don't know why I did this." Okay, well, let's calm it down so you can hear it. Everybody knows what's going on and why they feel the way they feel, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
are some ways to get to know yourself better. I think, and it's probably other ways too, but when you ignore yourself because you get busy, because you engage in a relationship with somebody and you just like put yourself to the side, that's not admirable at all.
Mm-hmm.
Being that martyr, I'm taking as long as I got them. No, it's not cute at all when you and like, what's your payoff for it? What you trying to what you trying to get from doing that? From ignoring
Okay.
yourself? Because when you know you and you feel good, you better to the world.
Amen to that.
Better
And
in the world.
that right there, because that is the key. You being knowing yourself better, being good to yourself, self-care.
Hmm.
We're saying at the meditation is medicine. But one of the things you touched on, we want to go back. Stephanie Hill made a really good comment. Fear keeps you from moving forward, right? But you can keep moving
Hmm.
and not stop. And
Hmm.
so a lot of that, everything that we talked about, and Jocelyn, you hit your license, you're professional, you certified and qualified, to let us know that I'm sure a lot of the inner things where you say people hear it, but they fear what they hear, so they don't
Yeah.
move forward with it, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so thank you, Stephanie, for your comment. I mean, everybody, yes, make sure you guys subscribe. If you missed the beginning, you can go back and watch it on the replay. Subscribe to the YouTube, hit the bell. It'll be there. But if you coming on in the end, if you came in the middle, whatever the case, if you had, make sure you go back and get this information because it is everyone needed, men, women, children, everybody. So
Yes.
we thank you for joining us. We have a few minutes left. I won't do all three. So we have, if you watch the Connected Corner, we have key questions. Okay. So we're going to just do two tonight. Normally we do three, and you'll have like 2 minutes to answer the questions. We got a little timer here. We don't cheat you or nothing like that.
Okay.
But you have 2 minutes to answer them. Nothing, difficult, but on the topic, just self, but really just helping people. So you guys, hey, avid watchers, listeners, we're going to put the questions in the comment. You can answer along with Jocelyn as well and see how good you do in answering the questions that we're going to put out. So after I read the first question, I'm going to turn it over. Okay. And then we'll drop the question also in the comments for you.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
the
Nervous.
first question, how do you deal with burnout or feeling unmotivated? So how do you deal with burnout or feeling
Yeah.
unmotivated?
I do my hobbies when I'll stop doing whatever I'm doing and do a hobby, whatever it is. I go away. I find a beach or something because I love the ocean. I'll get out of my environment so that I can regroup. That's how I deal with burnout.
Look, she almost answered the second one I was going to ask. Where is your
Okay.
favorite place to vacation?
The beach. I love the beach because I used to be afraid of the beach, right? Because I love the beach. I love the sound of the water. I love the sand. I love the flowness, and I love how amazing it is. Like if you look out, I can go for days on this. If you look out, you're like, wow, God really made this. This really, and look, the water is not coming up into. It blows my mind every time I sit on there. So it just tells me I can do anything. Every time I see that, it tells me that I can do anything. So I got to go a couple times a year to the beach.
Wow. Well, that's it. We're going to, y'all know, I love to travel. And Michelle, she had like 60 seconds left. She had a whole minute left. And I love the beach. You're a woman after my own heart.
Mm-hmm.
And just water. Water is where it's clear to me. Water is where, I just
Mm-hmm.
get motivated, all of that. I get
Yeah.
inspired. Oh my goodness. I could just lay out on the sand and
Nature
I
does
am
that to us.
for hours.
Nature does that to us. That's
Mhm.
nature. Hmm.
Yes.
Most certainly. And in this here Black History Month, I had just posted something in my story that said, Black folk are so funny. We quick to say, no, he didn't do that in Black History Month. And so in this here Black History Month, if you're not someone who gets connected to nature, do that. Definitely.
Please.
Even if it means take your socks and shoes off and go and just stand in some grass, you would be so surprised at how
Exactly.
grounded you
Yeah.
feel. Because, like we've been saying, in this journey to self development, you got to try new things. You don't know what you might like or might not.
Mhm.
There was a quote I used to have on my desk, and Jocelyn, you and I identified with our birthdays are 5 days apart. So I'm big on the
Oh
water,
wow.
prairie, and all of that. And
Oh
so it
yeah.
said, life takes you down many paths, but my favorite one leads to the beach.
It
And
does.
so
Yeah.
when I used to work in Woodlawn right off of 70. And
Hmm.
anybody who worked with me will tell you I had a bag kept in my trunk. They would get on my nerve. I would put in a leave slip. I would get in my car and drive up to Cunningham
You
State
are
Schools,
serious. You are
and I would
serious.
be at the beach. And they would be like, "Where'd she go? Oh, home. She left. She at the beach." Some
Yup.
days I would get my child from daycare. Some days I wouldn't. Some days I
Hmm.
would get on the road and be back in time to pick him up from daycare before the 6 o'clock pickup out,
Hmm.
because we owe it to ourselves
Right.
to get those experiences, to enrich ourselves, to take a moment to breathe, to relax. And so we just
Mhm.
thank you. I got my notes, my pen pad. I hope you guys have been taking notes. We thank you for everybody who tuned in. Jocelyn, please tell us a little bit more about how we can find you. We are dropping that in the comment as well. How can we connect with you on social media and beyond?
Of course, it says JSM therapeutic options for my Facebook. Then I have JSM underscore therapy for my business Facebook. But then I'm a planner girl. So I have let me check underscore my planner for my planner stuff too. And then if you need therapy, we accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, EHP, and it's 443-240-9380 for therapy. We accept self-pay also. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. We
we have
definitely
openings. We have openings.
Yeah, they have openings, which is hard to find in this time. So, guys, please, if you know someone who has just been down on themselves, stinking thinking, make sure you connect them to this information. Thank you, Jocelyn, so much. We will stay
Thank
connected
you.
with you as well. Guys, if you're looking to connect with me, my name is Tori Rose, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as Tori Rose the Connector. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. Kiana, how can we find you and connect to you?
I just keep laughing. Okay, you can you can connect to me on all social media platforms. That's Kiana B. Jones. And I was gonna say the 22222. Wanna I got a message that somebody is watching and they are just loving the accents. So yes, we're from Baltimore. And for those who are, remember, in the state of Maryland, we are surrounded by water and we do have beaches here. Now they might not be Caribbean blue water, but
Nope, but
you can still
they
go sit
have
your feet. You can put your feet in it and you can still sit on the sand. So just remember that if you feel like you don't have an outlet and you live in the state of Maryland, we do have water, a bunch of it. We're surrounded by it. So just keep that in
yeah.
mind. So you can
Most
also find us, the Connected Corner, on YouTube and Facebook. But make sure you go over to YouTube, type in the Connected Corner, subscribe, because we are always bringing you news and resources you can
actually use. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure you are back with us next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a sexy topic coming up. We've talked about dating and relationships and relationship with self. Now let's turn it up a notch. Let's talk about how we can reach some other levels in relationships. So join us next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we get connected to this sexy topic concerning relationships. This is the Connected Corner, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be blessed and peace.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank
Jocelyn,
you.
stay with us